Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. We begin with the latest on the fire burning near Fort Simpson, Northwest Territories. Plenty of firefighting work still has to be done in the area, but the risk of the wildfire growing near the community again remains low. Fire crews spent the weekend mopping up, working on putting out remaining ground fires and hotspots in and around Fort Simpson. There are a number of dangerous ash pits to extinguish where heat is trapped in burnt tree roots and stumps. It's part of the work that goes into making the community safe to return to. NWT Fire expects crews will keep mopping up throughout the week and potentially into the early weekend.
Mop up is a very long and tedious process because we need to ensure that there's no remaining heat in the area. It's not the most glorious part of firefighting, but it's arguably one of the most important parts and important for crews to do properly before moving on to the next area.
No return date has been set for Fort Simpson yet. The village's mayor says work is underway to make sure the return home goes smoothly. Meanwhile, the wildfire near Wrigley, Northwest Territories has not moved any closer to the community. 70 to 80% of the southern perimeter of that fire is considered contained as of last evening. Over 20,000 feet of hose and 114 sprinklers have also been installed in the community. Now let's take a look at the picture across the Northwest Territories. This is NWT Fire's live fire map. 166 of these fires are considered active. Just under 415,000 hectares are affected across the territory. That's about 4,141 square kilometers. There are active fires in all regions of the Northwest Territories right now. 37 in the Dutcho, 33 in the South Slave, 23 in the North Slave, 64 in the Sawtoo, and 9 in the Beaufort Delta. NWT Fire says much of the territory will see warm weather this week with daytime highs over 20 degrees. It says people in many parts of the NWT can expect heavy smoke. A manager with the Fort Smith NWT Animal Shelter says they're trying to create a paid position to ensure the shelter can continue operating. It currently runs on a volunteer basis, but it's much too work for everyone. The shelter was close to shutting down last fall because of a growing number of dogs and volunteer burnout. Volunteers managed to keep it going through the winter, but the same issues are pushing the small facility to its limit.
We limped through the winter. Once again, the same handful of volunteers completely fatigued, and all I do is orient the next batch of people that are in, whether they're students, they come, they go, the parks employees, they come, they go, people come and go, and I just keep trying to limp through and pull way more shifts than those of us can because we're all working full time. And yeah, so it's a big strain.
McGrath says they held a public meeting to discuss ideas for how to fund a full-time position. She says the plan is to apply for money from the NWT government. She added that they're also looking into private partnerships with businesses in town. 4 Yukon First Nations have been granted intervenor status in a Supreme Court of Canada case. The case challenges Ontario legislation that fast-tracked redevelopment of a closed theme park called Ontario Place. The legislation shields the province from legal challenges. The Yukon First Nations say the territory used similar tactics while making changes to the Health Authority Act. The court case could set a precedent for public trusts nationwide. TJ Deere joins us now from Whitehorse with more. So TJ, what's the connection between this case and the Yukon?
Well, it has to do with legislation passed by the Ontario and Yukon governments. When Ontario passed legislation to fast-track the redevelopment of Ontario Place, which has been closed since 2012, the government wrote into the legislation protection against any legal action towards the redevelopment. Redeveloping the land the theme park sits on has been a contentious issue, especially as this legislation lets the province bypass environmental and heritage protections. 2 appeals in Lower Ontario courts failed before winding up before the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court of Canada. And the basis of the case is the legal protections the province gave itself. Those legal protections are similar to the ones the Yukon government wrote earlier this year into a bill to change the Health Authority Act. Yukon First Nations have been up in arms about the Health Authority since the new government implemented its changes in the spring sitting of the legislature. The 4 First Nations involved are Nachonayak Dun, Little Salmon Carmacks, Selkirk, and Vuntut-Gwitjin. They've been approved as interveners in the case, but so has the Yukon government.
So what arguments do the First Nations and Yukon government bring to this case, TJ?
Well, it's important to mention that as interveners, they're not a party to the case, but their interest has been deemed sufficient enough to let them present their arguments before the court. There's a lot of interveners in this case: Greenpeace Canada, the Canadian Constitution Foundation, 2 Alberta First Nations, 4 other provincial governments, and the federal government. And that's not even the full list. The Yukon First Nations say the protections both governments gave themselves are unconstitutional. For its part, the Yukon says it needs those legal protections. It says a ruling against Ontario could undermine the public trust framework here in the Yukon. The Supreme Court told CBC News the case is scheduled to be heard on October 15th.
Can you explain that public trust framework for us, TJ?
Yeah, definitely. So the Yukon government is legally defined as the trustee of natural resources, as outlined in the Environment Act. If Yukoners feel those resources are threatened, they can take the government to court. Now, going back to the case before the Supreme Court of Canada, the proposed health authority was also designed to be in the public trust. But again, like Ontario, the Yukon government protected itself against any legal action when it changed the Health Authority Act in the spring. The Ontario group that's been fighting the case since the beginning hopes the Supreme Court creates a precedent for public trusts nationally that would prevent governments from bypassing the public interest. The Yukon government says that unless the Supreme Court specifically states to leave the territory's rules alone, it could mess up the rules that are already written here. Megan?
Okay, TJ, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
There's a new development today on an ongoing fire at Rankin Inlet's dump. The community's fire chief says Agnico Eagle Mines is stepping in to help by providing a pump that will allow a continuous flow of ocean water onto the flames. As of this afternoon, the fire is still smoldering. It started on July 4th. We now know the identities of the victims in Saturday night's shooting in Toronto. 2 people were killed and 4 seriously injured when shots rang out at the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival. Police say about 13,000 people were there.
The fact that individuals who use guns in a crowded public setting with no regard whatsoever for the safety of those around them is alarming.
The chief says there should be harsher penalties for gun use in public settings. So far, police have not named or arrested any suspects, but they say the victims were targeted, naming them as Cesar Vernaza and Shaquan Kwashi, both in their 20s. The shooting forced organizers to cancel the second day of the festival. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow says the city will not let, quote, reckless criminals stop the city from holding outdoor street festivals. A CBC News analysis has found that many senators are missing major votes on key legislation. Dozens of them are routinely absent, and some legislation passes with barely half of them casting a vote. This is raising questions about accountability in the upper chamber. The CBC's JP Tasker reports.
We crunched the numbers to find out just how often senators were casting votes in the upper house, and what we found is regular absenteeism. Dozens of senators are routinely missing big votes on some of the government's signature legislation. In some cases, only 50, 60, or 70 senators out of the 95 or so sitting members are weighing in on whether to pass bills. Bills like anti-hate crime legislation, the budget, spending measures, changes to immigration rules, tax cuts, you name it. In some instances, only a little more than half of all members of the Red Chamber are in the upper house for some consequential moments. In the 12 months following the last federal election, the Senate sat for just 76 days. Only 8 senators had a perfect attendance record over that period. The rest were away anywhere from 1 to 54 days out of the 76 for other public business, for time off, or because they were sick. And it's raising concerns among some of the Senate's leadership. The Conservative Senate leader Leo Housakos telling me in a statement, if attending the Senate for 3 days a week for roughly 26 weeks a year is viewed as too burdensome, then it raises legitimate questions about whether the Senate is the appropriate place for them. Senators are, of course, appointed. They don't face the electorate after Justin Trudeau's reforms. Virtually all of them sit as independents, or they're not tied to a party that must face the voters. They are essentially lone wolves, able to do what they want. There are no whips anymore to enforce attendance or count votes. Although I should note, attendance was a problem in the past. Before those Trudeau changes, it's been a problem for years. But what Prime Minister Mark Carney is doing is overhauling the appointments process, saying after 10 years of appointing mostly non-partisan senators, people with more political experience are what is needed.
You know, we look at the Senate as a whole and what the competencies are, and obviously familiarity with government, familiar with legislative processes, other things are helpful, but we want some core competencies in there as well, and where the Senate is more deficient and there's people who are willing to serve, I'm very pleased that they are.
Beyond overhauling the appointments process, I'm told some senators are also reviewing how to encourage participation when they return in the fall to a place that's supposed to be the chamber of sober second thought.
That was the CBC's JP Tasker in Ottawa. A Quebec judge has found Peter Nygaard guilty of sexual assault and forcible confinement. The former fashion mogul pleaded no contest in court on Monday. The charges were laid against him 4 years ago and were connected to incidents that happened in Montreal in the 1990s. Prosecutors say he lured a teen to his penthouse where he locked her in a bedroom and sexually assaulted her. Sentencing has been delayed until the 84-year-old undergoes a medical assessment. The Quebec case is separate from his conviction in Ontario in 2023. He was found guilty there on 4 counts of sexual assault and was later sentenced to 11 years in prison. That decision was upheld by the Ontario Appeals Court this year. Canada is not the only country dealing with intense wildfires this summer. For the second day in a row, firefighters in France have been trying to contain a large wildfire raging in forests outside Paris. A French government official says this may be a case of arson. It's the first time water bombers have had to battle flames so far north in the country. Ross Cullen reports.
Well, extraordinary pictures coming out of the forest of Fontainebleau area of France on Monday, with the continuation of the enormous blaze there, the height that the plumes of smoke are reaching, the scale of the fire, but also the sight of Canadair firefighting planes dropping to the River Seine to pick up water to drop on the forest fire. Normally we see these planes dropping to lakes and the sea in the south of France to combat the blazes which are common in that part of the country at this time of year. Very strange to see those planes this far north. The fire is in the Fontainebleau forest, a very popular hiking, rock climbing and bouldering area, a former royal hunting ground. There is a very famous chateau on the edge of the forest as well. Some local residents have been moved to safety, and trains also passing through that area are subject to delays because of the impact of the fire. Ross Cullen for CBC News, Paris.
A new Yukon University study says the idea of healthy aging looks very different between Indigenous and Western points of view. The study saw researchers interview 40 older Indigenous adults in the territory. They found where Western ideas focus on avoiding frailty and decline, Indigenous perspectives emphasize connection to the land and community.
I think it is the connection with our youth, support them. I would encourage youth to, hang out with Nana, hang out with aunties, hang out with uncles, learn your culture, learn your language. I am very proud of a number of youth that I know that are really working towards that today and really caring for their elders. Keep your language alive, keep your traditional foods alive, know how to survive, because that's what it's coming to.
The study was published in the Journal of Circumpolar Health last week. It was commissioned by the Canadian Frailty Network. For the first time, private online gambling companies are now legally allowed to operate in Alberta. From sports betting to casino games, Albertans can now access a variety of regulated gambling options. And as the CBC's Tristan Mottershead reports, safety is top of mind.
As of Monday, gambling in Alberta is going to look a lot different. Private gaming websites like this one are being given the green light to legally operate inside the province. So what will that really look like?
The iGaming, or the online gambling market, has existed for decades in Alberta. So this is about putting rules in place, making sure there's integrity behind what goes on as far as gaming, that it's done in a safe fashion.
While the idea of online gambling in the province isn't actually new, being able to do so in a legal way is. For years now, private companies have been operating illegally in Alberta. These new regulations will not only protect Albertans, but also make sure some of that money is staying inside the province. The Alberta iGaming Corporation is helping manage this new market.
Our role at AIGC, it's not to grow online gaming, it's to channelize the illegal market that exists today into a regulated and legal space.
Essentially, for a private company to become regulated, they have to go through a vetting process, sign an operating agreement, and follow the Alberta gaming, liquor, and cannabis policies. Among the companies setting up shop here, the widely popular BetMGM believes it's important to bring these protections to players.
People are going to gamble, but the protections need to be there, and they need to be developed and revisited and changed. And the government needs to be part of that conversation with the operators, and Alberta started that from day one.
One gambling expert says this transition feels more financially driven, though.
The primary motivation was that a significant portion of online gambling in Alberta had occurred outside the Play Alberta site. And so, the same thing was happening in Ontario, and that's why Ontario threw in the towel, and that's why Alberta threw in the towel, recognizing that, right now we're getting 0% of the profits from these multinational companies. At least we'll get 20% now if we regulate them in the province.
The iGaming Corporation is expecting between 15 to 20 operators to be fully regulated and available starting on day one. Tristan Mottershead, CBC News, Edmonton.
In the face of economic uncertainty, many Canadians have been looking for ways to lower the cost of vacations, and some have found a solution in home swapping. Ina Sadu explains how it works.
Canadians are getting creative to afford their next holiday. As rising costs squeeze budgets, more travelers are swapping homes instead of paying for hotels or short-term rentals.
Being a teacher, I have, a lot of freedom in the summer to travel quite far for a significant amount of time.
Calgarian Christy Moore says home exchanges are making longer trips more realistic.
I have 3 bedrooms upstairs, my primary one, but then I have 2 guest rooms.
The concept is simple. Members of online platforms pay an annual fee of a few $100s. They can then exchange directly with another homeowner or can earn credits to book another home on the platform.
If you were traveling for 2 weeks, to save a few $1,000s on accommodation might open up some other opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Tatiana Giberson is currently swapping her Calgary home with a family in Medford, Oregon. They've done this a dozen times, going as far away as France and Mexico.
It is a very appealing experience to literally just try on somebody else's life for a change. The secondary factor is obviously cost savings.
Platforms behind the trend say more Canadians are signing up. People Like Us says membership has grown about 20% over the past year.
Canada used to be our 5th largest country in the world, and now it's our 2nd largest.
Home exchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo.
Home Exchange, featured in the holidays, says 15,000 exchanges are planned in Canada this summer, up nearly 30% from last year.
Because of the rising travel costs, people are getting more comfortable with getting a little bit outside of their comfort zone.
Experts say this trend reflects a shift in how Canadians are traveling.
People are looking for what we call authentic experiences. They want to be within the communities.
But like any sharing platform, the biggest hurdle is trust. Users say reviews and video calls help build confidence before handing over the keys. Ina Sidhu, CBC News, Calgary.
Artists from across Canada are on their way home from Inuvik, Northwest Territories. They were part of the Great Northern Arts Festival, where cultural demonstrations and local artists were on display. The CBC's Des Loreen checked it out.
Stretch it, let go. Let go. Yeah.
The 37th Great Northern Arts Festival chose gathering as its theme. Artists say the festival is great because of the community, not just the fine art that's on display.
Meeting like the elders from this community and just hearing the stories of just their hunting stories or where their family comes from. So it's more of like I really enjoy that visiting.
I went down to Jamaica to learn how to play reggae and ended up singing country music for 3 nights straight in a bar.
Live performances kept audiences entertained in the gallery, surrounded by works of art from all across the Arctic. Local artists were also doing live demonstrations for the visitors.
This was something I really wanted to take part in, and it's a wonderful event, and it just brings all the warm fuzzies to like artists and creators, and it's really such a cool vibe. Yeah.
The festival began last Wednesday. It ended Monday morning with an art exchange to say goodbye. Participants could bring a piece and leave with something else. Des Loreen, CBC News, Inuvik.
If you're planning on taking some vacation out of the territories this week in Ontario or Quebec, be prepared for a heat wave. Environment Canada has issued a yellow heat warning as temperatures soared to the mid-30s today, even higher tomorrow. Mark Carcassole has more on the sweltering weather blanketing parts of southern Saskatchewan all the way east to Quebec.
Wave is really the perfect description for something like this because it is literally a wave of heat right across multiple provinces. Let's bring up the map. We'll show you. These various alerts and warnings from Environment Canada, yellow to orange, less severe to more severe, stretch from the eastern edge of Saskatchewan over to the western edge of Quebec. Through that stretch, here's what you're seeing. Minimum temperatures, fairly comfortable, 19 to 24 degrees, but keep in mind those are the minimums. Your maximum temperatures through that stretch, 34 to 40 degrees. In some parts of the country, those are the hottest temperatures we've seen this year. Then you factor in the humidex values, that could make it feel anywhere from 42 to 45 degrees. It is going to be warm overnight too. The darkness is not going to bring much reprieve, so prepare for hot summer nights as well wherever you are. Now, we've been speaking to people about it. For instance, let's start off with the family we met from England. They're here on vacation, escaped a heat wave over there to land right in another one here. They were skateboarding in the park, doing all kinds of jumps and flips. Strenuous activity, the very thing you're not supposed to do in this heat, but they don't seem too worried about it, and neither did many of the people we spoke to today.
Yeah, it's a bit warm to be doing this.
Any tips and tricks to stay cool?
Just stay in the shade a little bit, I think, and keep hydrated, drink water. Yeah.
I like 25, 35. No, not 35. 25, 30. Yeah. Like that.
45 is a little bit out of the zone of comfort.
No, 45 is too much for me.
But you need to drink and hydrate, and electrolytes like Gatorade and stuff like that is the best. And make sure you don't use the sugar-free. Use the ones that have some sugar in it. They're better.
Man, wise words.
I'm a nurse.
Oh, you're a nurse. There you go. Now, the most intense heat is expected to peak Monday and Tuesday. However, the hot weather will be around for the majority of the week. There are also various air quality warnings in effect, mainly in central Northwest Territories and on the western edge of Quebec. These are in areas where there are active wildfires. There's a lot of smoke in the air, so there are concerns for respiratory health, low visibility as well. As always, experts warn to look not only in yourself, but also in neighbors, especially the elderly, for signs of heat exhaustion. Headache, nausea, dizziness, confusion, intense fatigue. If you encounter that or someone around you encounters that, they encourage you to stop what you're doing, drink water, get to a cool area. If it's a really intense case, call 911, place ice packs around the body. The main advice that you should always keep in mind during weather like this, drink lots of water. Mark Carcassol, CBC News, Toronto.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.